Just so lovely to be able to have this time to practice together. And tonight is our metta night. That's a Pali word meaning friendliness or kindness. And it can also mean simply, a connection, feeling connected. And this practice of connecting with our hearts, with ourselves, with each other. And so I'm going to lead a meditation tonight that will involve partly our imagination, bringing in images or memories or images of folks or people or places that we care about. And also we'll use some phrases tonight to have a sense together of using phrases to help our metta focus. And so settling into a sense of the body sitting. Just scanning through the body and seeing if you're comfortable. And recognizing this here right now as a kindness. Just inviting your own body to feel a sense of ease, feeling the support of the chair. Kindness and a connection with yourself. And we can welcome however it is that you're feeling right now, whatever is present in the body. There may be some places of comfort, some places of discomfort. Maybe a sense in the heart. There may be emotions or feelings or thoughts in the mind, whatever is here. Seeing if you can be relaxed about that and let it be. Just inviting an ease right here in the midst of this. Might be all kinds of feelings, emotions. Just inviting ease right here. No need for it to be different. We can invite a softness and a gentleness right here. Let yourself take a couple of deep breaths. And just see if there's any sense of settling in the body, settling in the system. Sensing into the breath, letting the rhythm of the breath, ease you and support you. Just letting the gentle rhythm of the breathing just support you. Inviting softening in the body. Inviting a softening with whatever's here right now. Inviting a softening in the face. And bringing into your imagination, to your mind, to your heart, a being, a person, a pet, or a place in nature that invites a sense of connection, invites that you feel some care, some kindness, some friendliness, some appreciation, some sense of connection or ease. This could be a person, a pet, a place that you remember yourself being in nature. And just sensing this kind of wordless connection. Might be a memory you have of yourself in nature, or any, letting yourself just settle kind of in a wordless way into this memory, or perhaps it's this experience right here of just sitting, breathing, sense of being connected. Just keeping their image in your mind, in your heart. And sometimes it's helpful to offer some phrases as well. These phrases can simply support the mind and the heart to connect with a sense of friendliness, with the intention to um, cultivate or feel into kindness and care. And so I'll offer some phrases, and you can, if they connect for you, you can repeat them, one of them, or a word. Or if it's just nice to settle into this sense of wordless connection with your person, place, or your pet, then that's fine too. And so holding this being in our heart, our imagination, may you live these days with as much ease as is possible. May you be deeply happy. Or may you find happiness every day in small things. Just connecting with the sense of care that you have. You may not be able to control or guarantee these things, but the sense of care in the heart is what we're cultivating. May you be held in softness. May you be well in the midst of things. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be held in softness. May you be well in the midst of things. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be held in softness. May you be well. Just letting yourself be with this being for a while and offering them a phrase or more than one if you wish, or just one word, or just a felt sense of care. Just spend a little bit of time with them. Sensing any response in your body to this offering, this generosity. And then letting yourself receive from this being, this place. If it's a place in nature, just letting the nature embrace you and hold you the way it can. Feeling that sense of whatever your sense is there, letting that just be received in your heart and your body. So letting your heart soften as you receive their wishes for you. Might be an ancestor or a being like Kuan Yin. Just feeling yourself held in the lap of Kuan Yin. Just receiving either a felt sense in the body of softness and care, or letting yourself hear a phrase in your heart or a word. When the mind moves away from the phrases, it's not a problem because it'll come back. And then just return to felt sense of your body receiving these blessings, this friendliness, these wishes from your friend, from your being. Now thinking of someone that you wish to send this to, this is sense of care. Someone, whoever comes into your heart, your mind, people that you know, people that you places or beings, any person or place that comes to your mind. Friends or family, favorite places in nature. May you live with ease. May you be happy in small things every day. May you be held in softness. May you be well in the midst of things. In these phrases, we're not really asking for something we can't control, but we're just offering care, offering this gift of well-wishing as a way of carrying, as a blessing. We're offering this gift. And just in your own way for a while, spending another little while simply offering either a felt sense of care to whoever comes into your mind, or a phrase or a word. Whatever, sensing into the response in the body to this practice. Whatever comes is welcome. Holding that softly. And coming, offering again this wish, whatever word resonates for you, right here in the midst of things. And then letting our circle of care expand. Sensing out into the neighborhood all around you. And sensing also our community here, sitting together in connection here in the midst of things. And letting our attention or embrace spread out across the city and the province. Holding all of the healthcare workers in your kind embrace. Just letting any appreciation for them, sense of care, flow towards them. All these dear hearts, dear people in hospitals and community clinics. May you be easeful as possible in the midst of things. May you be safe. May you know small moments of happiness and joy every day. May you recognize your own goodness. May you always be surrounded by care. You may know some folks who work in the health industry now, or think of people or the health services now, or you can think of groups of people. Bringing in also the people that are working in stores, grocery stores, and drugstores. Perhaps individuals that you know, or groups, people in these places in general. Bringing transport workers in with to your kind awareness. And inviting softness and care for all essential service workers. May you be well. May you be happy. May you always be surrounded by care. May you be safe in the midst of uncertainty. May you be as healthy and strong as possible. May you know that you are loved. Inviting softness in the body and sending our wishes out to all beings everywhere. May all beings everywhere have peace and ease in the midst of things. May all beings everywhere know happiness every day. May all beings everywhere be strong and healthy. May all beings everywhere live with ease and with peace. Not sure if everybody heard the bell. I'll just ring it again. So, Andrea, did we want to do any connection with names?
Sure. As we often do on our Wednesday nights, we usually have a little opportunity where we'll go around the circle and say our names. I'll do that on behalf of the people whose names I see here. I see that we've got messages. I did get Facebook Live working. So we have Mars and joining us there, and 10 other people who haven't said hi yet. So hopefully they'll type in the comment box and say hello.
Right.
And we also have Abby, Amy, Brent, Brett, Carol, Johnner, Catalina, Cheryl, Michelle, Diane, Doris, Doug, Francis, Heather, Diane, Janet, Janice, Jeff, Joyce, and George, Catherine, Lauren, Lori, another Lori, Leif, Marilyn, Melissa, Michelle, Ozin, Rachel, Bob and Carol, Rod, Sue, Bill, Robbie, Shamarika, and then a few whose names I'm not sure because they're like Samsung Galaxy something. So whatever your named phone is, welcome. So thank you everyone for joining us. I see on Facebook we've got Elise and Jerry Lynn and Kathy and a few others. So thank you everyone for joining us. I'll turn it over to you, Jeannie, to do your talk. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. It's just so lovely to see everybody. So lovely to feel this sense of connection and have this chance to be together. And so I've been thinking about this tonight, this metta night, this care night. And I was thinking about metta and how much it is a real wellspring for us to be able to really have as a refuge and a compass for our lives. I've been these days asking myself, what would, and maybe you have this as a practice now, what would be the most caring thing in this moment? What would be the most loving thing in this moment? And sometimes it's self-compassion. And so I thought I would it's this idea, this sense of care as our compass. And also it's a natural, innate capacity that we all have, of course, and is called on in this time, called on so strongly as a wise way of responding to the situations that we find ourselves in around the world. And, it reminded me of a story that I hold dear to my heart. Um, some of you will know this story already, but it's just been living in my heart these days. This story it was a teaching I got 16 years ago from a young friend. She's 20 now. She was 4 at the time she gave me this teaching. And I had just been away on a long metta retreat, on a long kindness retreat, 6 weeks. And she didn't know what I was doing. She knew I'd been away, but I got back and I went to visit her, and we were playing. And out of the blue, she said to me, "Jeannie, I send heartstrings to people that I love." And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, at night when I go to bed, I think of a person I love and I rub my heart and I send a string from my heart to theirs. And then I send love over the string. And when their heart is full, I break the string off so the love doesn't fall out of their heart." And I said, "Do you send that to do you send that to everybody?" She said, "Yeah, I do." And I said, "Well, um, where did you learn to do that?" And she said, "I didn't learn it anywhere," she said. "It's just what I do." And I asked her parents, she just started to do it out of the blue. But I always remember that. It's just what I do. And this speaks to me about that in the innate capacity in our lives, the innate capacity in our hearts to care. And I asked her, I started playing, "Well, can you send it to animals?" Mm-hmm. "Can you send it to trees?" Uh-huh. "Can you send it to like the planet?" Uh-huh. "Can you send it to the stars and the galaxy?" Uh-huh. And so it was like, she could send it anywhere. So there was no distance that was too great. And so in these times of physical separation, that story's been really inspiring me to feel like we're not separate. And it's just what we do. We can call this up. So I thought about this care, this thought we could reflect a little bit on care for ourselves and care. So internally, the teachings of the Buddha invite us to reflect on all of these teachings internally and externally. And so this compass of care internally, I thought of all the ways this week or today even that this is called for. This, and I thought, I've been noticing myself, maybe, I don't know how it is for you, but I'm not moving as much as I used to. And so what kind of care can we show ourselves in that way? So Michelle last week talked about routine, the importance of routine. And so for those of us who are at home, and not all of us are at home, all of the beautiful healthcare workers and essential service workers aren't at home the way some people are in physical isolation. I want to recognize that. And actually, I want to just take a moment and just send, we did that in the meditation, but really send all of our great care to the people that are really, really in the front lines, really out there working on all of our behalf. Of course, taking care of ourselves internally, taking care of ourselves at home and doing our isolation and our physical distancing, of course, takes care of them too. And I was reading some articles today that many people are writing about the fact that we cannot respond to this individually. This global, in fact, a friend sent me some articles today about this that spoke about this, that this global situation demands or needs to have a global response, needs to have a community response. And so we can think about everything we do to care for ourselves as part of that community response. But this sense of caring for ourselves, I just wanted to bring that in a little bit. So for everyone, we can notice what's happening with the body, care for the body. And there's some other practices that we know that care for ourselves, that are practices that we can bring in intentionally at this time very powerfully. And one of those is gratitude, what Bob calls the fifth Brahma Vihara. And so we can bring gratitude in. So just right now even, bring in something that you're grateful for. I'm just so grateful to be here with you. So grateful for the practice. Sense what it is you're grateful for. And just let that be a moment of nurturing. A moment. Another thing I find that's helpful these days in caring for myself is remembering that, or recognizing that it's just as easy to get busy at home as it is to be busy externally. There's so much online right now, and there's so many programs we could take, and so many this and that, and I could be online all day catching up on the latest stillness meditation. And so just watching that for ourselves and supporting as much stillness as we can. Noticing if that pattern starts to ramp up. And then we can use also very simple ways of settling the system. And here's a simple way that we can all do right now. This is a very powerful tool that we can use, and that's the tool of just using our sight, mindfulness, our mindfulness of seeing, as a way of supporting a settling in the whole system. And so right now, wherever you are, just let yourself look around your room and let your eyes go where they want to go. Just let them go where they want to go. Might be to a particular color, might be to an easy chair that's kind of inviting, might be to a particular plant, might be to your pet. Just let your eyes go where they want to go. And then let them settle there for 2 or 3 breaths on this object that your eyes enjoy. Maybe the shape of something. Just let your gaze rest there. And just see what happens inside your body, in your system. This can be a way of caring for ourselves. And so then thinking about care externally, and when we have our chat, people might have, your own examples of how you're doing this, and it would be beneficial for everyone to hear. And so caring for community, I read something today that suggested or invited us to connect intentionally with 1 or 2 or 3 people every day. And with care in our hearts. And so I thought back on that today as I was going about my day, and I had a phone call at supper time from someone who was fundraising for a very worthy cause. And the predominant experience I had on that phone call was my sense of care for them. So they called me, but I connected intentionally with them on the phone call. And I felt that sense of connection and care in my own heart. And then I got an email today, and this was also receiving a connection. I got an email from a food store that I'm part of, that I shop at, and they sent this message of care, explaining how they were caring for themselves, how we could keep them safe when we went shopping there. And I just felt such a sense of care for all of the people in that store. And then I connected with a few people intentionally today through text. I got a sense of a friend who saw a deer in their yard today. Another friend, I got a little sense, just friend who had a sunny day, that where they were was sunny. Just this little sense of people connecting and seeing how they're doing. And so we can connect intentionally. And you know what? Another friend of mine told me this beautiful thing that they're doing in Saskatoon. They've decided to go visiting, porch visiting. They didn't give me a name for it, but they said they're going to visit their neighbors, special neighbors in the neighborhood, people that they know. And they're going to knock on the door, ring the doorbell, and then back up and stand on the porch or the sidewalk and have a visit. It's like Christmas caroling or something, visiting in the neighborhood like this. And so isn't that sweet? So I wonder how creative we can get with how we can connect in this time, and care for each other in small ways. In this time, of course, where our interconnection is so apparent. And it is easy in these times also, I think, to let ourselves get into fear, let the mind go there. Fear and anxiety, concern for the future, concern for people and their safety. And when we do that, we can bring our practice right there to care for ourselves with self-compassion, to help the mind come into the body so that it's not spinning in the story. And then to do what we can, so we can all do something to care for the community, to care for a person who's in our circle. And when we do that, we can feel in our own hearts that goodness, that all that is like giving out of the goodness of our heart. And so that's a place also to not lose when we offer these kindnesses and this care. Sense into how it feels in your own heart to be connected. This can be like a really our life practice. We're called to this deeply now. In every moment, we can offer this practice. We can practice this. So I just want to close with a poem from Rosemerry Wahtola Trommer, who I mentioned last week and who is a wonderful, wonderful poet. She's written this poem called "The Most Important Thing," communicating in the time of coronavirus. And so she says, just 2 weeks ago, it was sufficient to say hello, good morning, goodbye. But now, in every text, every email, every phone call, I tell my friends and family how much I love them. I tell them life is better because they are in it. I say it with the urgency of a woman who knows she could die, who knows this communication could be our last. I slip bouquets into my voice. I weave love songs into the spaces between words. I infuse every letter, every comma with prayers. Sometimes it makes me cry, not out of fear, but because the love is so strong. How humbling to feel it undiluted, shining like rocks in the desert after a rain. To know love as the most important thing. To remember this as I keep on living. And so letting ourselves just right now sense the care and connection here in this space. Care and connection with each person here.